Hey everybody, welcome back and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to dive deep into the stock that has been making serious waves, AMD or Advanced Micro Doubler at this point, Advanced Micro Devices AMD. If you've been following the stock and you know that AMD is going to be a wild ride, and it has been for the past couple of weeks, past couple of days, and recently we've experienced that all as shareholders. And with some groundbreaking news shifting through the wires, it is going to be time to break down exactly what this exactly means for the company and its future, and it's very critical for us to understand this as investors. So strap in, we have an action-packed video today. Now specifically, we're going to go into the massive multi-year partnership with AMD that just landed, and there is none other than OpenAI's deal here. Yes, that OpenAI, the one that you use for ChatGPT, this isn't just a headline, it's a potential game changer for the company, for both companies, I'll add. And I'll share my current position in AMD, and we'll dissect their competitive moat as well, look at the core business, and finally, you will get a candid thought of what I think of AMD's valuation moving forward. So stick around because this is going to be a good one. Now, let's look at this article here. Let's kick things off with news that everyone's talking about. Earlier this week, it was confirmed that AMD has secured a multi-year billion-dollar deal, multi-billions in the dollars. Now, this is going to supply the next generation AI GPUs for OpenAI. This is actually pretty huge because you haven't seen a deal like this for AMD almost ever. Why is this such a big deal? And up until now, NVIDIA has been the undisputed king of AI chips, holding an estimate of around 80 to 90% in market share. AMD has been working so hard to catch up. It has been a race against the horses that are so strong and that dominate this field. And this deal signals that there is a significant breakthrough. It's not just about selling chips, it's about gaining critical traction with one of the most important AI innovators in the world. Now that OpenAI and AMD have come together to create a partnership, it is saying that, hey, there is a new player that we need to be cautious of, or there is a new player that we need to look at and see that they are actually providing a very good alternative to the number one player, which is NVIDIA. But how does this change the entire AI landscape? This just injects a serious dose of competition into the AI chip market. More competition generally means faster innovation and potentially better pricing for AI developers. For AMD, this validates their strategy for their MI300X accelerators. And don't forget about the Oracle deal. That is, they recently secured a deal with Oracle to sell 50,000 GPUs to Oracle for its cloud infrastructure. These are two major wins in a quick succession. That is OpenAI and Oracle coming within weeks apart. And it just seems that AMD has the full steam ahead of itself. Now, my immediate reaction on the news was, what the heck just happened? Because that is insane. I would have never expected AMD to partner up with OpenAI, let alone, and Oracle to get 50,000 GPUs. This isn't just about the revenue generation from the future partnership that is to come. It is about the perception and market validation of, hey, AMD creates a superior product in the market, and we need to go out there to get those chips because either one, they're the more budget version, which is AMD's entire story, the budget to performance version of any other chip that's been out there in terms of gaming, in terms of the AI space as well. But more of like the market validation that is out there just to signal that AMD is a viable product, that everybody can actually just go out there and buy AMD products. NVIDIA doesn't need to be the only guy out there to be selling in this market. So that's a big win. So let's look at my AMD position here and see what it's really made up of and my conviction here. So AMD, I have about 313 shares in this account, which is about $75,000 each share. My cost average is about 113. Today, we have about $39,000 in gains, or we're up 110%. This is a company that I believe will do volumes in the future for this portfolio. This is a company that I truly believe has just begun its growth story. And Let me get into why I believe that as well. I've been following this company for maybe couple of years now, but I've never really looked into it seriously because of like the valuation. And the valuation had dropped to $80 in April. And if you guys remember, in April, nobody really wanted to touch any company that was doing business at all, really. But majority in China. Like we had this entire tariff war that was pushing valuations of stocks extremely low. And AMD was one of those companies that you could have scooped up for a forward PE of 18, I believe, at that time. And now you probably have a forward PE of 45. So, let alone that valuation, there was so much upside at the time that it just makes it silly for you to not invest in a company that is in a duopoly, not invest in a company that is managed by Lisa Su, one of the top CEOs in the world, let alone not invest in a company that has major inflection products that is going to be the alternative to NVIDIA, who cannot fulfill AI demand. And everything was just kind of adding up together. They had a Dell partnership that was pretty intriguing. It wasn't needle moving at the time because just let alone their chips in laptops isn't going to majorly drive the business. It's more of data center growth. But those are small wins along the way that kind of, back your thesis, really make you understand this company overall, what they have to offer to the world. And they are in a industry where they are one of two providers. They are duopoly, in my opinion, when it comes to AI data center chips that need to be out there, like their MI300X that is getting bought up by Google's, the Metas, the Amazons. And AMD and NVIDIA are going to power this world. So let's get into a little bit more as to what I believe makes AMD so strong. Now, every great investment needs a strong moat. How strong is AMD's? Well, traditionally, NVIDIA had this software moat called CUDA, and that was essentially making it very difficult to compete in the space. And AMD has built some of their own defenses here. So some of the product innovation and CPUs, such as GPUs as well, that they have added to their mix here. CPUs, their Zen architecture has been a massive success. We've reclaimed market share from Intel in both consumer and data center segments. Their EPYC processors are highly competitive here in this space, that people think that AMD is actually the way to go over Intel's options. Now you take a look at GPUs. While historically NVIDIA in high-end gaming has always been the front-end leader, AMD's RDNA architecture is actually pretty strong. Their MI300X accelerator series, however, is their big play. They are targeting NVIDIA's H100 chip, and that is the chip that NVIDIA is selling to all of these AI data center places as well. So a chip that is comparable in performance and probably better on price. I think if I'm a enterprise customer, I would likely go to AMD as well because of what they can offer. Now, AMD has this AMD ROCm software, which is pretty crucial to the business. AMD's answer to CUDA is this ROCm software. While it's slower to build, deals like OpenAI suggests that ROCm is maturing and becoming a viable alternative to CUDA. And this is going to be where the true moat can expand for AMD in AI. I think that if AMD is actually able to pull off this ROCm software and people don't need to rely on NVIDIA's such strong CUDA relationship there, then I think we could steal market share in AMD GPUs in relation to the software that is added onto them as well. Now, Dr. Lisa Su here, chair and CEO of AMD, is often overlooked, and I think that having a strong leader is a very great addition to a moat of a company. It makes the company even stronger. Lisa Su is widely regarded as one of the best CEOs in tech, known for her strategic vision and execution, and If you've seen where she's picked up and where she's taken the company over the past couple of years, you would probably give her the award of a great, outstanding tech CEO that is bringing the company to places. So I like Lisa Su, and having her speak about the business overall only gets me more pumped up because she is so knowledgeable on all of these concepts that I can't even wrap my brain around it. I need to sit and study what these words that come out of her mouth mean. So that is something that I do admire Lisa Su for her intelligence as well as conviction around the entire industry and her company. So let's move on. Now, when I look into a company like AMD's moat today, especially one that is after the OpenAI deal, I see a rapidly widening moat in AI, a solidifying moat even, and a moat that is still smaller than NVIDIA's, but still growing nonetheless. And if I were to choose between which company is going to grow more, a company like AMD or a company like NVIDIA, I think that AMD still has a lot of market to make up. And I think that there is still a lot of gains to come for AMD in terms of market share pulling away from NVIDIA. Now, the software aspect with ROCm is still a key thing to watch out for, and this deal gives them that necessary feedback to scale and accelerate for its development. And let's see where this all goes. I think we have a couple more years to ride this out, but yeah, that's going to be the most exciting portion to look out for AMD. Now let's break down AMD's business segments from where it's growing its growth from and where it's likely headed. So data center is going to be the crown jewel right now. That is essentially where they're getting all of this AI momentum. EPYC CPUs and MI300X GPUs, this segment is poised for massive growth. We can see that most of the money just comes from data center revenue growth here. And client PCs, let's look at this client segment here. This client here is traditionally very volatile with Ryzen CPUs. This is very competitive in a market that is competing against Intel, though I personally, myself, would rather go an AMD alternative because likely they're cheaper. And there was a time where if you were to buy an Intel CPU, it would fry your entire computer. That is the 13th generation. So I think that AMD actually wins in this aspect as well. Gaming here has actually been a little bit shrinking lately. We haven't seen gaming do that well when it comes to PlayStations and Xboxes. We know that AMD makes the chips for them for custom. And this is a very mature market that seems to be a lot more difficult to get more people to buy these gaming consoles out there. So it's going to be interesting to see how we can build that back, but this isn't the majority of the business overall, so it's not too scary. There's also this embedded business here, which is essentially Xilinx, and it is a high margin, steady growth portion of the business from industrial, automotive, communications, and defense applications. This provides stability, so anything that goes into, like, I don't know, like your car, for example. Like I have a Tesla, and before they would use different chips, but some of them do use AMD chips now. So those chips that are going into cars that are being sold every single day, that is going to provide stability for the business overall. So just by looking at this revenue mix here, you can kind of tell that a lot of it is going to be driven by data center, which is going to be customers sold on the other end from enterprise relationships. These are going to be higher ASPs, or like average selling prices for their products here, and that is going to lead to higher margins. And once you have higher margins and higher ASPs, you get higher profits and higher earnings at the end of the day. So this is something to look out for. It's something that I'm very excited for as an AMD shareholder. Now, my biggest question for AMD is the future success rate of, are they going to be able to fulfill the demand like NVIDIA? We've seen that NVIDIA has so much demand for their products that people are switching to AMD. And if AMD has so much demand, can they fulfill that as well? And if you have everybody raising their margins, will there be a third player come into this? I really hope that they're able to manage demand, and this is going to help continue their strength if they can keep that demand and differentiate from NVIDIA's long run here. And let's see if they can truly compete when it comes to fulfilling that demand, having that software ecosystem that you can actually truly compete against NVIDIA for their CUDA platform versus ROCm. And let's just really get out there and put the pedal to the metal and see how many enterprise customers we can sign up. That would be very interesting. Now, I want to take a look into AMD's valuation right now. It looks like we're at a forward PE of 47. Given that this company is growing revenues at 27%, I don't think it's that bad. You're having a company that is in a duopoly, like I said, when it comes to this AI data center chip revenue that you're getting. It's either AMD or NVIDIA, and those are pretty much the two players here. The market cap still of $385 billion. It's been going up insane. 29th biggest company in the world. And just looking at these metrics, data center, you're growing at 58%. This is year over year. If they can keep growing at this pace for the next couple of years, who knows where AMD will be in the future. AMD, given that they're only at, I don't know, what, $385 billion market cap, and NVIDIA is at 4.5 trillion. Does it seem that their gap is justified? I don't know. I think we will see how many customers will switch over from NVIDIA to AMD, and let's just see where they will be in the future. I really hope that AMD is going to be one of the winners. Of course, it's going to be a cyclical ride like this, but in 10 years from now, 15 years from now, who will be the true winner of it all? I think both of them could win in this race to have data center growth, data center implementations for all enterprise customers. It is going to be a fun ride to watch. And as a shareholder, I will be holding my stock and not buying, not selling, but just holding and seeing where this goes. This is a company that I want to own for the future because I believe that I should be watering my flowers and not cutting my weeds. A lot of people will look at a 100% return on AMD in the past year and say, oh, it's time to sell. And truly great companies driven by truly outstanding leaders in the industry, these are the companies that you do not want to sell. These are the companies that you want to hold on to because they are making a difference. And it is going to be very difficult for me to sell because I've sold out on great companies in the past. And this is a company that I do want to keep holding for the future. That is everything that I have covering today, and I truly believe that AMD is a great company to hold for the future. I am super excited to where AMD goes, given that the public portfolio has about $75,000 of AMD. Let's see how high we can bring this baby, where we can go, and please stick along for the ride. If you guys made it to this point in the video, thank you guys so much, and consider subscribing to the channel because we are growing so fast. Thank you guys for your guys' time today, and peace out.